Let's challenge one of the most common ideas in our industry. It's that scope creep is inevitable, but that's not true. What people mean when they say that is change is inevitable. And the real question about managing scope is managing change is to understand whether you even know the kind of change that you're dealing with. Because not all change is the same. In working with global leaders, we've begun to understand that you can separate them into two categories. The leaders, they look at first category as changing facts. These are legitimate changes to the project. There could be a new building regulation. There could be a revised site condition. There could be a significant structural constraint that's discovered later. There could be a budget increase, reduction. There could be a new stakeholder who joins in with genuine power of approval later. These are not failures. These are simply new facts, and every project needs a way to absorb them. Understandable. But the second category is taste drift. Nothing about the project has actually changed. The client simply started to imagine something completely different because they saw something online. They got exposed to an ad. A friend offered an opinion. A new material suddenly looks very appealing to them, and they spend more time living with your design. So now they want to explore alternatives because it looks a little bit mundane. Again, this is not wrong, it's very human. But if organizations don't distinguish between changing facts and drifting taste drift, every change is going to begin to look equally urgent. And that's where projects quietly, they start to leak value. Here's a simple exercise. Think about your last 10 projects. Do you know how many of them were driven by evolving taste, evolving preference, taste drift versus genuine project fact on ground changes? Most firms, they can't answer that question. Why? Because everyone records revisions. You don't record why revisions happened. But that is where the operational insight, the real valuable insight, that's where that exists. Because once you understand the cause of change, you can respond appropriately. If facts have changed, update the plan, reassess the risk, look at the timeline again, figure out and communicate the impact. But if it stays drift, slow the conversation down. Have the conversation with the customer to understand the real implications. Discuss the trade-offs. Tell them what impact this is going to have on the priorities that you probably discovered during client discussions. Then document the decision. Agree on what changes and what doesn't. Notice something important. We're not trying to stop change. We're trying to manage it intelligently and put the onus where it belongs, because unmanaged client changes, they create more than just extra drawings. What's it going to create? It's going to create a lot of meetings, approvals, coordinations, side discussions, potential communication bottlenecks, founder involvement, and eventually it's going to start to delay and impact other projects, eventually leading to erosion of margin. But the biggest cost is never going to be financial, it's always going to be organizational. Why? Because if every project experiences the same pattern of uncontrolled changes and nobody is asking why, organization is not going to improve. Organization is going to remain in chaos. In the Immaculate app, every significant change is treated as a learning opportunity. Did discovery miss something? Was the stakeholder map unclear? Was the brief unclear or incomplete? Did we fail to define what was fixed and what remained flexible? Or was this simply genuine change, which is, that's life. Those are project facts. Sometimes those things happen. Because every answer needs to improve the underlying operating system. Like we always say, if you keep improving the underlying operating system on which your entire organization is built, then every subsequent project gets the benefit of every old project. So here's a challenge. Next time when somebody says, client change their mind, don't stop there. Ask a second question. Did the facts change or did the preferences change? Because those are two completely separate problems. One requires you to adapt, but the second one requires better hand-holding and better decision making. The firms that consistently protect their margins aren't the ones that are trying to avoid change. They're the ones, they understand it well enough to make every change improve the subsequent projects that they're going to deliver. Everything you've seen in this video and will continue to see as part of videos in this series is based on principles that we've spent years building into the Immaculate platform. If you'd like to experience them inside an operating system built ground up purely for design and architecture firms, start your free trial today at immaculate.co.in/trial. Thank you.